Nilikutana na Eliud Owalo nikasema naye mawili matatu, na amekuwa akisaidia sana AFC Leopards, akasaidia watani wao, mahasimu wao Gor Mahia, akaja akasaidia timu ya mpira wa kikapu hapa nyumbani. Nikasema naye na mwanzo tu nilimuuliza ni nini hasa kinamchochea kutoa ufadhili wa usamaria wema kiasi hiki. Tusikie.
Today you find that most sportsmen are fully and exclusively involved in sports as a source of livelihood. So when the corona pandemic came into being, it affected sportsmen very negatively in the sense that they were not getting actively involved in sports, and therefore the sports entities have engaged them were also not able to make payments by way of salaries or even allowances. So they were a bit vulnerable because of loss of livelihood, a source of livelihood. And that's why I was coming in as an agent of necessity, just to give some basic subsistence support.
You started with Gor Mahia and
yes, please.
AFC.
Yes.
Why both?
Because I believe, first, I'm an ardent sports fan, and two, I believe that if you want to uplift the standards of soccer in this country, you cannot focus on Gor Mahia and forget about AFC Leopards. Yeah, we need to get back to the same situation we were in the 80s, where the rivalry between these two clubs, yeah, was quite intense, and the standards of soccer in the country were quite high. If you ask me, from where I sit, I don't see the value proposition in corporate entities supporting institutional football clubs like Kenya Breweries, let's say Chemelil Sugar, Momia Sugar, Postal Corporation. Because why? From a marketing perspective, if you are putting money into sports as a corporate entity, you are doing it in anticipation of some gain, yeah? Because you are doing it as a marketing strategy, okay? So it's actually corporate social investment. You are investing so that you are also able to get visibility for your product, yeah? Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards have got large support base, and the corporate entities need to tap into this support base by way of sponsorship. So it doesn't make sense to me to support non-institutional clubs, football clubs, which don't have a support base. It is a lopsided thinking. That's why I want to make a humble appeal to the corporate concerns in this country to focus more on supporting clubs like Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards, which have got a large fan base and which can also enable them get exposure to their products. So you cannot develop soccer by focusing on Gor Mahia in isolation and forgetting about Leopards, or vice versa. Yeah? Let us support both clubs so that we get back to where we were, where the standards of soccer in this country were quite high.
What is the importance of Gor Mahia and AFC in the national team?
They are the feeder clubs the key feeder clubs to the national team. Even if you look at some of the foreign players who once in a while are brought back to play for the national team, to me, some of them are not better than the local players. Yeah? It's the same thing that is happening even with the foreign imports in the local Kenya Premier League, the soccer players who are imported from other countries. Yeah? They are not better than the local players. Perhaps it is because they have been exposed to better environment, playing environment, and even better facilities than the local players. In 1987, when Gor Mahia won the Africa Cup Winners' Cup, yeah, it was a fully local players-based team, yeah, and they beat the whole of Africa. So I believe we should focus more on developing local talent as opposed to importing foreign talent into the Kenyan Premier League. Actually, importing foreign players into the Kenyan Premier League is actually negating the efforts of developing the capacity and capability of local players. Yeah.
What is your take on Gor Mahia beating AFC now and then? And you're a Gor Mahia fan.
It's good for me as a fan, but it is not good for Kenyan football. Yeah, we need to have some intense rivalry between the two clubs. want to Gor Mahia to perform better, but at the same time, we don't want to leave AFC Leopards so much behind. Let them develop and progress at par for the benefit of Kenyan football.
And what has changed when you remember earlier 80s? It was an intense Mashemeji derby.
It's leadership. Yeah, it's leadership in these two clubs and also in sports in general. Yeah, perhaps, okay, granted, there are individuals within sports leadership who are trying, but they don't have proper teams around them that can enable them facilitate good governance. Yeah, we want to see a situation where we have got proper structures in the clubs. Yeah, we have got proper marketing strategies. Yeah. We have got proper performance management framework. We have got proper monitoring, evaluation, and reporting frameworks that can inform this good governance. Okay, so bad governance is actually what is killing sports. You find that players, one, there's lack of sponsorship. Why is there lack of sponsorship? There's lack of sponsorship for local sports because there is no good governance. Nobody from the private sector will put his or her money in an entity where there is no likely return on investment. So that's where we should start from. Yeah, the problems afflicting sports today is twofold. Yeah, lack of leadership and bad governance. Yeah, we need to think of how to put in place structures, policies, systems, and operational procedures that can facilitate good governance, so that players are paid in time. But even before you talk of players being paid in time, they need to be properly contracted. Yeah, yeah, not just by way of salaries, but also with a clear remuneration structure, perhaps some performance-based pay, so that based on their performance of and above salaries, they can also get some bonuses. Okay, performance-related pay that needs to be put in place. We need to think also of some insurance benefits for players. For example, when a player gets hurt in the course of a game, yeah, we have seen instances where the players literally go begging to facilitate their medication. That should not really be the case. We have seen previous stars, yeah, in soccer and other sports literally becoming beggars in old age after retirement. How comes we have not come up with some retirement benefit schemes for our sportsmen and women? So it is lack of planning, and this lack of planning is an output of poor leadership and poor governance. That's the way I see it. Yeah.
Tanzania ahead of us when
Yes.
Yanga plays Simba.
Yes.
Fans.
Yeah, the fan base. Yeah, the fan base. They are very enthusiastic because they believe in these clubs. The clubs are well managed, and we need. You see, if you look at Simba, for example, they have adapted a business model. Yeah, we cannot continue running football clubs like social welfare entities. We must adapt a business level so that we can attract the private sector to put in their money. Yeah? Let us have shareholders. The funds can get some minimum shareholding, but let's have also the corporate entities, private sector also coming in and getting shares so that we run these clubs as business. That's what is happening all over the world. That's what's happening in the English Premier League. That is what's happening in La Liga. We cannot be an exception as a country. We must benchmark with trends and best practices elsewhere.
Beside Gor Mahia,
Yeah.
which team do you support in EPL?
In the EPL, I support Arsenal.
Why Arsenal?
I've had a historical relationship with this club. It's always been my club since the days of people like Thierry Henry, Perez, Tony Adams, you know. So I've always been with them. Yeah.
And what is your take on FKF elections?
An election is not just an event. It is a process. And from where I sit, if we wanted proper and credible elections, first of all, you needed to get stakeholder buy-in. Yeah? Let stakeholders come together. Let us agree on how we want the elections to progress. Let us agree on who the delegates will be. Let us agree on the elections timetable. Let us agree on the voting and tallying system, and also so on and so forth. So elections is a process. It's not a one-off activity. That's where we go wrong. But the problem we have usually, without imputing any improper motive on anybody's part, is that most of the elections we conduct in this country lack credibility. So against the background of that credibility gap, yeah, at the tail end of the exercise, you find that there are certain participants, by way of candidates, who are not happy with the outcome. We should be having processes which are all-inclusive, participatory, credible, and objectively verifiable, so that at the tail end of the exercise, the losers recognize the fact that they were fair losers and congratulate the winners, and both teams join hands to work together for the good of the country.
Beside football, we saw you helping basketball.
Yes.
Why basketball?
I've been a player. I've been a basketballer in this country. First of all, I was a player for Kenyatta University Pirates, where I was also the chairman of the basketball club, okay? And then I also played for Barclays Eagles. So I've got sentimental attachment to basketball as a former player. And you recognize that our national men's basketball team, the Morans, recently qualified for the finals of the African Championships, yeah? If they perform well in that, for the first time in Kenyan history, we'll be having a Kenyan team effectively taking part in a world championship. Yeah, that's why I feel the Kenya national basketball team, the Morans, need all the support. And as we speak, apart from just hosting them for lunch and giving them some token during the COVID period, I'm reaching out to former basketballers far and wide as we speak, to see how we can come together as friends of the basketball fraternity to support these players so that they get adequate preparations, and also we manage to bring, first of all, the best that we can get from wherever they are. We facilitate their travel here, and then we make sure that they go into proper residential camps so that they are not wanting by way of residential and training facilities. And also we ensure that based on performance, we come up with a reward mechanism for the players during the championship itself. So that is work in progress, and we are almost in the next couple of days, you'll be hearing more from the Kenya Basketball Federation in this regard.
From the national government,
yes,
when you see the sports ministry,
yes,
is not taken care of when they appoint like a minister,
yes,
minister who knows sports.
yes.
And what is your take on that?
Well, I believe that people need to be appointed to positions based on clear understanding of the functional domains. Of course, granted, we have got individuals and institutions who have the prerogative to make these appointments, but I believe that this should be informed by competencies and capabilities of individuals. So let's step back a little bit and do some background check before we make the appointments. Will these people be able to fit based on the roles and responsibilities expected from the holder of those offices? That should really be the starting point. We must match skills and competencies with the jobs that we give people. So based on a functional analysis of what needs to be done in a given ministry, let us get the right people to hold those positions. Unless and until we do that, I don't see us heading anywhere as a country.
Katika upande wa vijana,
yes,
youth,
yes,
we usually see you more in youth.
yes.
Why youth?
But youth, you see, first of all, youth constitutes 75% of the Kenyan population, based on the latest 2019 statistics. And these are fellows who rely a lot on sports as a source of livelihood as well, over and above formal employment. So personally, I believe that if you want to develop this country, you need to come up with some deliberate programs and initiatives that would empower both the youth and the women. That is the backbone of the Kenyan economy, if you ask me, from a workforce perspective.
Your last words on sports in general in Kenya?
Well, all is not lost. Yeah, let us get back let's get Kenyans to support sports initiatives in their individual capacities. But as I conclude, I really want to make another humble appeal to the corporate sector, the private sector, to support sports. Sports is a big industry. Yeah, we can bring big money into sports and also enable it be a source of revenue for this country. The problem we have been having is that sports is not given due attention in planning, is not given due attention in funding. We need to change our thinking. There has to be a paradigm shift. Sports, just like agriculture or even manufacturing, can be an integral source of revenue for this country. Let us give sports the due attention that it deserves.
You played basketball. Which team do you support in NBA?
Chicago Bulls.
Why?
I've always supported Chicago Bulls, yeah.